All right, guys, I'm going to go over how to make a couple different fences and how to make it fast. So again, for your theme park, a lot of times you're looking at fences that you want to try to make to either enclose your restaurant, enclose your ride, enclose where you're lining up for your ride, or just enclosing like your walking area, your parking area. So first things first, I'm going to start off with a cube. This is going to be a real basic fence, like your white picket fence. So I'm going to go ahead and press R, and I'm going to squish it and stretch it till I get to a length that I want. Again, you guys can do this first before using human scale, because then once you've combined your fence, you can scale it to your humans. Or if again, you can always file import your human scale too if you want to see what the fence looks like to them. Now, you could just use a fence like this, and there's not a lot of details, right? You don't have your rounded corners or anything, so you probably want to have something a little bit more detailed than that. So what you could do to give you guys kind of like that extra detail up here is there's two ways you can round this off. One way, you could go to Mesh Tools and go to Insert Edge Loop, and you can just click in the middle and cut a line down the middle, and you're going to switch out of that tool, and you can just click on that top edge you just made, press W, and you can pull up. So that gives you kind of like your squared fence look, like that. You can do that again. I'll do it again here. If you want it to be a little bit more squared off, again, another way you could do it. You could do it two different ways, so I'm going to duplicate this fence twice. So again, you guys can go to the same tool, the Insert Edge Loop. So I can cut two lines this time. I can go to face mode. Sorry, I got to switch out of that tool. You press W, you can pull up, and you guys can make your fence like that. Or the other way is you go to face mode. You can use your extruding tool. You can hold shift and pull inward, and then you can pull up. So you guys can see there's a couple different ways to get that rounded shape. So again, one, you could cut two lines and pull, or two, you can extrude and pull. And then the other way you can do it is there's a thing called beveling. So beveling is another really cool technique you guys can do. You just go to edge mode, and you can select the edges you want to round off on a squared object. So I'm going to try to round these two objects. I'm going to go to mesh, edit mesh, and I'm going to go to bevel, and boom, there you go again. See, it rounded it for you. Now, what's cool about the bevel tool is you can mess with the fractions and the segments by just left click and dragging. So again, I can change the segments, I can change the fractions. So then you can really change the roundness of your guys' fence. So you guys can see that's how you can. There's a couple different types of fence posts you can make. So again, you can make it like nice and round, you can make it nice and squared, or you can make it like, and you guys can mix it up too, because some fences will mix it up, so you have a little bit of every. You might have one or two different styles. So again, you guys go like this, where you guys duplicate the styles together, so then you can keep going back and forth and just keep duplicating. So you guys can make a fence like that. Or again, I can just take one of these ones and duplicate it and have some space between it, like this. And then I can just take a new cube and then bring that cube across the distance of how long I want my fence. And then I could duplicate that bar as well. I'd also color your fence whatever color you want to color it first, like on one of your posts. That way it just duplicates that color. So for example, if I make this a white fence, then if I duplicate that, now it's going to duplicate with that texture. So I would texture whatever color. If you want to make wood texture, color texture, whatever you're going to make for fence, black. But again, you could once you put it together, guys, pay attention. This is important. So let's say I make this one fence. So I'm gonna go ahead. And make this all the same color real quick. Assign existing material fence. Now, if I want to make this one object, because right now it's all these different fence shapes, I'm gonna drag and select all my fence. I'm gonna go mesh, combine. So now it's one object. I'm gonna name this fence. Now we need to delete history because all these shapes don't exist anymore. So it's this button right here with the blue clock. It just delete all those fence shapes that don't exist anymore. But once you guys have deleted history and you've combined it, now you can duplicate by just holding shift and pulling your fence. Again, you can rotate it, and then even what's most important is you guys can scale it to your humans. So then you guys can, press R and scale your fence to your human. So again, if you're making a fence outside of a ride, you can build it up and then move it around, scale it. If it's outside of a restaurant, and again, you guys can line it up. So that's how you make a fence. Like I said, I went a little fast, but you guys have this video to watch. Again, you guys can make it squared or triangular. You can make it squared. You can make it rounded. Those are the three different ways you guys can change the way your fence top looks.